Hello, my name's Ottoline Leyser and I am the CEO of UKRI, and it's really great to have the opportunity to say something to you about UKRI, UK Research and Innovation. So UK Research and Innovation is the UK's largest public funder of research and innovation. We bring together the 9 councils that founded us, that's 7 disciplinary research councils, Research England, who work with the equivalent bodies in the devolved administrations to fund research through block grants into universities, and Innovate UK, which is the UK's innovation agency. So we span right across the disciplines and right across the sectors, and that gives us a wonderful overview of the overall research and innovation system. We're a public body. We spend a very large amount of taxpayers' money each year. Our current budget's about £8 billion a year, so we're obviously accountable to government. And crucially, I view our role very much as stewards for a much wider system, working with academia, business, public sector, third sector, and of course international partners to try to foster a really thriving research and innovation system for the UK that has real impact in the UK and also internationally. Just to give you a brief overview of what we do, this is a very busy slide, but I just use it to highlight the different ways we have to invest in research and innovation. We invest about 10% of our budget in PhD studentships and fellowships, so in people, in their skills development and in their research activity. And then we have a block of funding, that response mode funding, where researchers can apply for anything they want, basically. And that's about 12% of our budget. People in universities particularly view that as the major thing that we do, but I think it's important to stress that whilst it's an incredibly important part of what we do, it's only 12% of our budget. And then along with that, there's similar response mode grant programs, but in targeted areas where our councils think that there's a really good opportunity to boost activity in that area in the UK. So in combination then, that's in the ballpark of 20% in that response mode funding. Then we invest in institutions, in university research through, as I said, those block grants that Research England put into English universities in QR. That's about 20% of our budget, so that's a huge fraction of our budget that gives universities flexibility and a strategic opportunity to invest in research, in people, in infrastructures, whatever their strategic priorities might be. We have about 12% of our budget in infrastructure, of small and large, so equipment, but also major national infrastructures. And we have about 11% of our budget in a range of research institutes, be they fundamental science institutes like the LMB in Cambridge, the Laboratory for Molecular Biology, which has worked for many years on various problems in protein structure, for example. And then more applied or targeted institutes, or institutes that are more institutions, I suppose, that provide national capabilities and facilities, so a range of institutes. And then there's a chunk of funding that you can think of as being more in the innovation space, so response mode innovation grants, about 7% of our budget that goes into mostly small and medium-sized companies. The catapults, which are very specific institutes that try to bridge the divide between the university research base and the innovation system, and then challenge-led funding, which does a similar job in a very different way. It tries to bring together the teams and capabilities that we need to tackle key challenges for industry, for example, really high-quality electric car batteries. So that's funding together is more targeted in that innovation part of the space. We have a chunk of money that is specifically targeted at international collaboration, although any of the other activities I've talked about can be internationally collaborative. And at the moment, about 5% of our budget is being spent on targeted COVID-19 funding. So a wide range of different ways that we fund research and innovation, and our job really is to tune that portfolio to try to build the most effective and efficient system that we can for the UK, driving a whole range of outputs with a whole range of impacts. So to summarise that, I suppose, I see our role, as I said, very much as stewards of the research and innovation system, and we have a vision to build an outstanding research and innovation system for the UK that gives everyone the opportunity to contribute and to benefit, and that enriches lives locally, nationally and internationally. And we have a whole range of tools to do that. The investments I've talked about already, but also we have lots of opportunities to convene and catalyse and build partnerships across the community to build the kind of collaborations that we need to support the thriving and inclusive research and innovation system that connects. It's got to connect up all the parts, and that's discovery, research, but also innovation, and we need to connect those things to prosperity and to public good. So I think this connection is a really important point that I want to emphasise. We think about the research and innovation system in an incredibly linear way, and although we know this is an approximation and it's not right, it's nonetheless very deeply embedded in the way that we think about things. We think about discoveries, somebody beavering away in a laboratory somewhere with a kind of light bulb moment that's discovered something. And we think about the impacts or the products that might emerge eventually from those discoveries. And we think about the system as a very linear transfer of information from the discovery into the product environment. And it really doesn't work that way. But because we think about it that way, we tend to think about the way we invest in the system and the way we measure the outputs of the system in the context of those two ends of a linear pathway. And we know in the UK, we don't do so well on the middle bit, the so-called valley of death. And we think about the problem there as being missing investment, but I think it's much, much more than that. I think it's missing connectivity because, as I've said, everybody knows in their heart that this is not how research and innovation works, that research and innovation is built on a network, a really diverse and broad network of different people with different skills, and bringing all of those things together to connect discovery to prosperity and public good in multiple different ways, either starting with an idea for an innovation and then reaching back into the research base to find the ideas and the skills to deliver that, or wild research idea that's in somebody's laboratory or in their book or whatever, that somebody discovers quite accidentally and then sees how it could deliver some impact into society. And then there are people in the system who are just there to enjoy the art of discovery, and there are people in the system who are really motivated by fixing some particular societal challenge or global challenge. And all of those people need a wide range of people around them to support their activity, to support what they do, and to allow them to work and to innovate and to discover. And all of those people around them are a crucial part of the system. I've said support. I don't really like the word support because it implies that there are researchers and innovators and then there are support staff, and that those are different communities, and they're not. They're all a crucial part of the same community whom we need to capture the extraordinary benefit of creativity in the country to address the kinds of problems that I've talked about. And so in building that system, UKRI, I think, needs to work with these fundamental principles in mind. It needs to think about that diversity of people, like with a diversity of backgrounds and a diversity of skills, and working in a diversity of ways, in diverse teams with different infrastructures and different organisations. That diversity right across the system is crucial, and we need diverse ways to support all those people. And then connectivity, we have to join up that diversity. You don't get the benefit of diversity without collaboration. So diversity with collaboration, and that's what builds a really resilient system, and we need to think about that both in the context of connected diversity, but also in the way that we fund to build sustainability into the system. And you can't achieve any of those things unless you engage deeply with all of the relevant parties and stakeholders in the system to understand what is working for them, what is not working for them, what the opportunities are, how we can create that collaborative diversity that's so crucial for fueling creativity and discovery. And so an example of the kinds of things we're doing to try and promote all of this, and I would encourage you to go and have a look, is the 101 Jobs project at UKRI. So 101 jobs that change the world, highlighting the extraordinary contributions of the very wide range of people in a very wide range of roles in the research and innovation system who are essential to making the system work. We tend to think about the research and innovation system, as I said, as being about researchers and innovators, but there are so many different people who are crucial to making it work, including all the people listening to this talk. And it's really important that those people are celebrated and their contributions deeply valued to build that kind of sustainable system that we are talking about and that we so badly need. So I'd encourage you to go and have a look, and if you know people who should be part of the project, who could be nominated to be one of the 101 jobs, please get in touch. And a crucial element to this whole story, I think, is diversity with connectivity, as I've said. And that means connecting up all the different parts of the system through the people who work in the system and who move through it. I'm very keen to build these diverse careers where people work in different sectors, in the many sectors where research and innovation takes place. And the best way to build collaboration between and across the system and to make those unexpected connections that you didn't even know about, to realise that what you learned in context A is valuable in context B, and indeed what somebody else learned in context F is also valuable in context B, to create that network system where those kinds of accidental coincidences can occur, and where the deliberate coincidences, where you bring together people who definitely know different things and have different skills and different talents, that requires those diverse careers with people moving through the system. And that's a really important element of what I think we need to incentivize and to value is people who have worked across the system. And again, I think people on this call are great from that point of view, and the technical skills that we need to carry through the system are a crucial element of that. So we're very interested in how we can better support and recognise and value technical skills and technicians. And so we have signed up to the technician commitment, and we have an action plan that covers our role both as an employer of technicians. We run a lot of research institutes across the country, but also as a funder, and therefore as someone who supports technicians through the money we put into a much wider range of organisations. So we have our action plan. I encourage you to go and look at that. And we're really keen, as I said, to break down these silos between roles and between sectors, and that's a core part of our aims. And in both of those contexts, we are supporting the talent programme. So this is a UKRI Research England consortium aimed at delivering a whole variety of measures to support career development and progression for technicians right across the system. And here at the conference, if you want to learn more about the talent programme, we are contributing to the funding technical staff in research session later in the conference, so please do go along to that. And overall, this is all part of our desire to value a much broader range of people and contributions in the system, as I've tried to highlight all the way through. So I will stop there, and thank you very much for listening, and I really hope that you enjoy this conference.